What I'm planning on doing is having two sections. The first section would be a fabrication set of courses, projects, that would include learning how to saw, how to drill, how to file, how to sand, all the really basic things that you have to know, metal identification, and then we would explore texturing metal with punches and hammers and develop that into a brooch that hopefully in the first day everyone will walk away with that. Also, on top of that, learning how to oxidize and add patination to the surfaces. Then the next things we'd learn would be to capture cabochon stones, which are stones that have flat bottoms and slightly rounded sides. And those would be captured within a bezel. And so we'll learn how to make both a box bezel and a step bezel. And then also prong settings. And the stones and the silver that we'll use will be provided. And after the students have learned how to make these settings, what we'll explore is how to manipulate stock material to make ring shanks. And so basically we'll create ring shanks of the students' own designs and incorporate onto those the settings themselves. And so that will involve learning to silver solder and to work with hand tools with skill. And so the goal there would be to learn these two different kinds of stone setting, how to form and shape material, and we will have a final project too, which will likely be a bracelet or some other kind of jewelry piece that would incorporate textures and stone setting and be wearable and functional. The second class, which would be the following week, would be one that would not require a student to have taken the first class, but it certainly would be exciting for them if they did. The second class will actually incorporate casting, and the whole focus will be about casting. And basically what we do in casting is start with wax in a slab and learn to carve it and shape it down until you get to a ring or whatever it is that we decide to make, but definitely we will be making rings for a portion of it. And it's a lost wax casting process. And so basically you see here two carved rings, this being wax, this one being finally cast in bronze. The way that works is, in this example here, a mold was taken off of a shell, wax was poured into it, and now it is sprued onto the sprue base here. And what we do is we slip a flask, a metal flask, over the top and pour investment over the top of the wax form. This is then put into a kiln, and the wax is burned out, lost wax casting, yet the negative of this shell is inside there. And what we do is we then take casting grain, bronze will be provided, and hopefully we'll do some silver as well. And that is put into a centrifugal casting machine that's wound up under tension, and a crucible is put up against the flask. The molten metal, the metal shot here is melted to a molten state, and then the pin on that arm that's under tension is released, and it centrifugally forces that molten metal into this negative cavity, and it produces the end product, which is the bronze or silver version of it. And so again, we'll be carving waxes to make rings and exploring using other found materials, plastics and so forth, and possibly, actually very likely, doing castings off of natural and other found objects to reproduce them in metal, which could essentially become, something like this brooch, which is an assemblage of wax and cast found elements. And for those students who have had experience in the previous class of stone setting, they may want to incorporate some of those skills into the cast elements. And so they're two separate classes that will operate independently of each other. You don't have to take them in order to succeed in one to the other, but it all kind of builds on itself, so you can do more and more with the progression of the classes. My interest in taking on this Summer Academy of Art teaching is that I really am excited about sharing this information with high school students. As a matter of fact, my first start was when I was in high school. I was 15 years old, and I took 3 years of jewelry making in high school, and I absolutely fell in love with its possibilities. And in my own work, I've actually collected things that I've found, and being stone or wood or plastic, and I always wanted to figure out how to put them together in some way. And jewelry making became a method by which I can incorporate those different materials together. It gave me the technical knowledge that was necessary to make that happen. And I've worked with high school students. As a matter of fact, last weekend worked with 10 high school students making jewelry, and they did fantastic. And it's really exciting. I love teaching beginning jewelry because many students, if they've had experience making jewelry, it's either stringing beads or wrapping wire, and very few students, or anyone for that matter, has really had the opportunity to work with torches and do soldering, and that's something that we'll be doing. And we have all the safety equipment and all the appropriate tools that are necessary. And so to watch students come in with very little experience and leave with the knowledge and the power, basically, to manipulate materials to express themselves is really exciting. And a week is, enough time to get a taste of how it works and develop some skills. And of course, if someone's interested, they can pursue it more in the future. One other thing that's important to mention is for the two separate courses, the tools will be provided. We'll provide all the basic tools. We have 16 sets of tools for each student to use and borrow during the course of the class. Jeweler's saw, half-round file, a whole set of pliers and wire cutters, and a ring clamp to hold things, and a station, a bench to work. And we have great soldering facilities with good ventilation, and it's really a safe and appropriate environment to work. It's ideal.